Welcome back to the 24/7 Sports YouTube channel for more programming. It's Thursday, August 25th. As we get started here, thanks to producer Chris Belcher and Jason who get this one off the ground, and to Trey Scott for his creative influence. Let's dive in. Spoke Wednesday night to the top 247's number one defensive lineman in the country, David DJ Hicks, and his father about where things stand with the Katy, Texas, Paytel High standout. Texas A&M and Oklahoma have long been considered the two at the top of the list. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Little technical difficulties here. But I talked to Hicks, I talked to his father, and obviously took that last visit to Oklahoma at the end of July, and big needle mover, as we said on one of the last episodes of Wiltfong's Whiparound, and his father confirmed that. He said it moved it a lot for him just being there. He liked it a lot, and his dad went on to talk about Coach Bates and Coach Chavis and the relationships that David has or DJ has with that Oklahoma staff, long-standing relationships, and loves the direction of that program. They want to get back to Norman for a game this year. That's not scheduled. Alabama and Texas are places that they want to get to for games this fall. That's not scheduled. What is scheduled is a return visit to Texas A&M for the game against Miami. Miami's a school that Hicks took an official visit to as well earlier in the process. Oregon and Michigan State got officials. Texas A&M's where my crystal ball is at. Oklahoma has a ton of momentum coming out of that July visit, but A&M was first to offer, longest standing relationship, talks to Coach Robinson and company all the time. Jimbo Fisher, I think that he's just excited to see how A&M looks this year and how A&M rotates their players and how these players are developing in College Station. Those are the two programs, A&M and Oklahoma, that are still in the best shape there. I think an early season game against Miami is an opportunity for A&M to maybe grab back some momentum that Oklahoma certainly garnered up there with that July visit. Let's go from the number one player in the state of Texas to the number 7 recruit in Bravion Rogers, the LaGrange High two-way standout and top 247 cornerback, backed off a near 4-month-long commitment to Texas A&M earlier this month. And LSU is certainly right there. He visited in March, returned in May, talks regularly to the Tigers program. He's coveted by Brian Kelly and his staff as they aim to finish this recruiting class strong that ranks number 6 in the 24/7 Sports Composite Team recruiting rankings. I talked to a source last night that thought the two programs were still battling it out, A&M and LSU, and they figure that Alabama will find its way into the mix as well. Rogers uses 10.6 speed in the 100-meter dash as a junior to rush for over 1,000 yards and score 15 touchdowns. He added another 6 receiving scores, picked off 2 passes, broke up 6 more. And look, there's reason to think that LSU has momentum here with those visits. I think that decommitment was something that was in the work for months, but certainly still not shoving the door on the Aggies for Rogers, who's the number 4 athlete in the country, number 56 prospect overall. I also spoke to top 247 offensive tackle Monroe Freiling on Wednesday night, one of South Carolina's best. He's the number 8 offensive tackle in the country. Alabama, Clemson, Florida, Georgia, Miami were some of the schools that we talked about. And he said he's already taken officials to Florida, Miami, and Notre Dame, so he's got 2 in play. Georgia's getting 1 for sure, he said. And I think that things have really picked up for the Bulldogs since Coach Searles was hired over there. He's visited Georgia a couple times this summer, been there in the past before that, wants to get back for a game and an official visit this year. I think that Georgia has some momentum in this recruitment, but he's also super high on Florida. I think he's excited about Miami and Coach Cristobal and Coach Maribal, and certainly Clemson and everything that they offer from the in-state angle and what their program's been able to do. Wouldn't be surprised if Monroe makes a decision sooner rather than later. And again, Georgia is the one school that he has marked for an official visit later on. We got college football this weekend, guys, and Florida State opens the season on Saturday against Duquesne, and they'll do so in front of about 70 recruits or so. Mike Norvell and his staff have 24/7 Sports number 22 recruiting class in 2023, and they're number 2 early in 2024. 24/7 Sports composite. 4-star running back Michael Mitchell is a current Utah commit out of Middleburg High there in Florida. He's one of the headliners visiting in the 2023 class. The Seminoles already have 4-star running back Samuel Singleton committed, and perhaps they'll make a move on Mitchell too. Both have 10.8 speed in the 100-meter dash and would obviously make for a potentially dynamic duo. Key 2024s expected include top 247 defensive back Brett Gaskin, 4-star athlete BJ Gibson, top 247 safety Micah Danzy, top 247 receivers like Carl Lewis. Defensive lineman LJ McCray is a prospect that crushed it in their camp that they love and covet. 4-star defensive lineman Xavier Porter, 4-star athlete Jalewis Sullivan, and a couple notable 2025s include our newly minted number 1 linebacker Zayden Walker, and then tight end edge Ellis Williams, who I believe is our number 13 player overall in the country. So a couple big time 2025s. Not expected this weekend, but slated to be in Tallahassee for the LSU game in 2 Saturdays is 5-star receiver Hakeem Williams. What a big opportunity for Mike Norvell and his staff, and what should be a great atmosphere inside Doak Campbell Stadium to beat a team the caliber of LSU, as the Noles continue to try and make a move on Texas A&M and others for Williams. And look, the table's set. They just got to make sure the food is on the table. With the recruits that are expected over the next couple weeks. Williams is certainly the most coveted. Games matter sometimes in recruiting, and that one coming up is big for the Noles, who have recruited extremely well, in my opinion, in 2022 on the defensive front, on the offensive line, and now they're looking to add some explosive skill players alongside Singleton too and Chris Jason. If Florida State can come out the gate 2-0 with a win over LSU, it'll be interesting to see what that does for momentum on the recruiting trail for Norvell and company in Florida State. From Florida State to North Carolina, let's stay in the ACC. The Tar Heels opened up their season Saturday night against Florida A&M. 5-star quarterback Jaden Davis, 2024, a standout from Charlotte Providence Day. He's going to be back in Chapel Hill to take in the Tar Heels. Uses the same quarterback trainer as Drake May, who's going to get his first career start for North Carolina. So him and his family are excited to get out there and cheer Drake on. Jaden has visited North Carolina in the past and sat down with Phil Longo, and certainly that offense is an exciting one. Coach Mac Brown and his status around the state is big and exciting for Jaden as well. And they're going to go out there. They're going to watch Drake May, watch that offense, and maybe see what it looks like with him potentially under center for the Tar Heels down the road. Jaden plans to take several game visits this year. Schools on the radar for that include Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Clemson. Those are some programs. Penn State, and the whiteout game perhaps. I know that those are visits that Jaden Davis is eyeing as his junior season continues. 2 big-time receivers are also expected, and Jonathan Paler is one of the most electric players in the country, regardless of position. He's our number 37 prospect overall. And Alex Taylor, top 247 receiver, also expected at North Carolina. Mac Brown and company, they'll look to get Drake May and that offense going in front of these coveted targets. And they're continuing to roll on the trail. They finished number 16 3 cycles ago, number 14 2 cycles ago, number 11 last year, and they're at number 20 right now after securing 2 more commitments this week from receiver Paul Billups and linebacker Amari Campbell, both out of Virginia. Campbell is a major thumper. You turn on his film, he is not decleating people. He's decleating offensive linemen, punishing ball carriers. Love the physicality he plays with. He's college ready right now from a 220-pound standpoint. North Carolina, they have 2 targets left on the board. 4-star defensive lineman Davon Hobbs and 4-star linebacker Kavian Keys. Right now, I've both predicted to North Carolina on the 24/7 Sports Crystal Ball. There's major SEC competition for both. Keys is slated to commit on Saturday. Texas A&M just offered. We'll see if he still announces on Saturday. You know, I'm sticking with North Carolina right now, but monitoring. Hobbs is also strongly looking at Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee, with Auburn, the 5th school in the mix, and he's going to take official visits to Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee this fall. So we'll see what happens with North Carolina standing in that one moving forward. But certainly they're in good position there. And I just look at the team that North Carolina is going to run out there against Duquesne. I was looking at their depth chart. And I feel this is the year that they finally take off. And in my opinion, it's a terrific defensive front. It's a potentially loaded running back room. And the things I'm hearing on true freshman running back O'Marion Hampton, he's a true freshman that looks like he's a fifth-year senior physically. Obviously, I love May. We ranked him as a five-star, quick decision maker, quick release, accurate, strong arm passer. Excited to see what he does with his chance. And this 2023 class could potentially keep the defensive line stocked for years to come. And don't be surprised if we see North Carolina after the season, look for some more DBs, whether that's guys on senior film or the transfer portal. Not an ACC team in football, but Notre Dame. Let's pivot to the Irish. They added to the number 3 ranked recruiting class on Thursday, flipping Woodbury Forest out of Virginia defensive lineman Armel Mukam, who I think is a Canadian native. He was committed to Stanford. Now he's in the boat for Notre Dame. He's 6'4". He's 245 pounds. He notched 10 tackles for loss and 5 sacks in 6 games as a junior. He has the developmental traits Notre Dame has been so successful with in the past on the defensive front. Big, athletic, long, and physical. I think that Notre Dame may have potentially 4 more spots in this class. The Irish, they're sitting on 23 commits right now, and I think they could take 4 more potentially as they put the finishing touches on what might be their best recruiting class in 24/7 sports history. They finished number 5 in 2013. They had a top 10 class last year, so that was one of their better efforts on the trail, and the momentum has certainly continued under first-year head coach Marcus Freeman and his staff. And this morning, I logged the 24/7 Sports Crystal Ball forecast in favor of the Irish for one of the more electric offensive weapons in America in Jeremiah Love out of St. Louis Christian Brothers. He's a 4.3 kid in the 40-yard dash. He's a state champ in the 100-meter. He averaged over 10 yards per carry as a junior. He's expected back at Notre Dame after taking an official visit in June, back for the Marshall game with family, get mom up there, return with dad. I think Notre Dame is the one. They've set the bar. That doesn't mean they don't have company at the top now. Texas A&M is on their heels. Michigan's still in play there. Missouri, Oregon, and Miami are a few other programs swinging, but I think Notre Dame has set the tone there. He's an aspiring physician, has really clicked with running backs coach Dylan McCullough, and wants to win a Heisman Trophy, wants to play for a national championship. And of all the schools that he's looking at, I think that he sees that opportunity at Notre Dame as well. Notre Dame, they're just trying to get more potent on offense too. I mean, they're trying to get more speed at the skill positions alongside guys like sophomore Lorenzo Styles and running back Chris Tyree. But Braylon James is a sub-11 guy on the 100-meter dash, a receiver committed out of Texas. Jaden Greathouse is one of the more talented one-on-one pass catchers, who's just been a dominant football player for Austin Westlake. And then the Irish have a couple running backs in the fold. Jaden Lamar, who's a 4.5 guy in the 40-yard dash out of Washington State, 5'11", 190 pounds. And then they have a 4-star Dylan Edwards out of Derby, Kansas, committed. He was the fastest guy at the opening at the Future 50 event this summer, ran 4.3 in the 40-yard dash. He's probably more of a gadget guy. Slot guy, jet sweep him, empty out, maybe put him in the backfield. But if they can add Jeremiah Love to the guys that I mentioned, Notre Dame will have one of the fastest group of skill players coming to campus, and certainly give Tom Rees and company a lot of exciting options on offense to divvy up the football too. Saturday, I'm also excited to see Notre Dame commit Christian Gray play. He's going to be in Indianapolis, and he's going to be in Indianapolis playing against a team out of Ohio. They're going to be playing, man, I'm struggling, Chris. They're going to be playing against Springfield, Ohio on Saturday in Indianapolis. So looking forward to seeing all that. A couple commitments are coming up this week, Chris. You got Cam Lenhart announcing his decision tonight. Still like Nebraska there for Cam Lenhart as they compete against Michigan State and Penn State, among others. Nebraska opens the season and basically a standalone game in Ireland against Northwestern. And I think when you talk about teams that need to come out of the gate fast, and how it's going to impact recruiting. Nebraska is one of them. Certainly, they lost 7 games last year by a score or less. An opportunity for them to come out and show recruits, hey, the team that you saw last year wasn't finishing games, but we were close. But this is still a program on the rise under Scott Frost and company. Because if they don't, the vultures are circling and the media ready to get some bad press out there on Nebraska again if they don't come out and play at a high level early on. DeClavius Torrey's announcing his college decision Friday. I like Auburn there. Anthony Evans announcing his college decision on Friday as well. Receiver from Texas, like Georgia still. Desmond Umeozulu's committing on the 24/7 Sports Channel next Monday. South Carolina is the crystal ball forecast. Like the Gamecocks there. And Makari Vickers, he's announcing his college decision on Friday night. Oklahoma is the program on the crystal ball that I still like. Going to be a big slate of high school games, so you want to stay locked into the 24/7 Sports Network for coverage from coast to coast. I'll see Dante Moore play on Friday night. He's coming to Indianapolis. The last time Moore was in Indy, he threw for 438 yards and 4 touchdowns. In a 40-36, in what ended up being a 42-40 loss on a Hail Mary, but certainly wasn't his fault. He was magic in Indianapolis. He's now our number 2 ranked player in the country, perhaps finishes number 1. He's opening his season. He's a state champ last year, led Detroit King to a championship after taking them to the title game as a freshman. So he's poised to do it again, has a chance to finish as the number 1 recruit in the country. And he'll open his season on Friday night, and I will be on the field for it. Guys, that's it for this episode of Wiltfong's Whiparound. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit the like button. Please tune into our other programming on this channel, from Preps to Pros to The Block. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your college football. We'll catch you on Tuesday.